caution. Starting at point guard, at 6'3", number 13, Isaiah Collier. At the small forward position, at 7, wearing number 23, Lauri Markkanen. At the center position, at 7, number 24, Walker Kessler. Starting at the other guard, at 6'3", number 2, Colin Sexton. The other forward, at 6'9", number 20, John Collins.
Hello, and here we go. It's Thursday night in the NBA on 2K Sports. Along with Hall of Famer Doris Burke and Grant Hill, I'm Brian Anderson. Allie LaForce joins us from the sidelines. Here's a look at some stats for Keontae George.
And he's been locked in at the free throw line for sure. In the past 5 games, his percentage at the line is much better than it had been prior. Sometimes that's how it works. You just get that extra focus at the charity stripe.
Now let's check out the starters for Brooklyn. Johnson and Claxton patrol the middle. Cam Thomas out there with D'Angelo Russell. And it's Williams in at the 3. And for the Jazz, Markkanen and Collins the 3 and 4. Collier is out there with Colin Sexton. And it's Kessler in at the 5 down low. All right, Doris, how about teams like these who could really run their offense through their bigs?
BA, over the years, one of the things I've heard from coaches quite often is how effective a 3-tool big man can be. When you can drive it, pass it, shoot it, score it, do all the things they can, it changes the geometry of the floor.
Now here's Russell. Thomas. Missed inside. Sexton with it. It's tipped. Williams against Markkanen. Williams passes to Thomas. He's now 1 for 2 with that bucket.
I'm not sure how we define a difficult finish for Cam Thomas. This guy finds a way through contact.
Kessler, a screen on Thomas. The 3 from Sexton. They grab their own miss. Kessler finds Collins. Claxton with the block. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Claxton. Just a superb read on defense to come up with the block.
I mean, letting them know up front that he's on the hunt tonight and eager to knock away shots. I love it.
Here's Collier, guarded by Russell. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And another miss by Utah. Here in the first, a little over a minute played so far. Doris, when we talk about home court advantages, the Jazz have amongst the best.
They do, BA. You have to play at altitude. They're also a little bit isolated as well, so travel is hard. Let me tell you this, their fan base is loud. L-O-U-D.
And another miss by Utah.
And even with the miss, that's a high percentage shot for him.
Steps back. Good work there as it goes.
Boy, not a bad beginning. 3 for 4 from the floor. Pretty good start.
Utah has gone 0 for 2 from outside. Collins outside. Pass to Kessler. Back to Collins. Here's Collier, guarded by Russell. Here's Collier. He's averaging just around 8.5 points a game. Hits the trifecta.
Colin Sexton has proven to be a very capable three-point shooter. Boy, you better be there to contest.
Thomas outside. Back to Russell. Pass to Claxton. And here's Thomas from the arc. Gets the three to fall. Thomas has got 5.
Yeah, these types of situations never fluster Cam Thomas. He embraces taking and making tough shots.
Here's Markkanen. 4-3. And it's Thomas with the rebound. Nets leading by 6. Williams on the wing. Checked by Sexton. Williams' shot is good. Williams has gotten his second bucket of the game.
Boy, absolutely no rim protection, leading to a lot of easy buckets here.
Pass to Collier. Claxton against Kessler. Here's Collier. Kessler, a screen on Russell. To the paint. And there's Kessler on the assist from Collier.
You can tell how much confidence Walker Kessler has as the roll man, ready to catch and score.
Outside, Williams. And we're just over 3.5 minutes into this first quarter. Here's Thomas. He's off on that one. Some solid defense from Sexton. Johnson with the defensive effort.
I think he's got to settle down because right now it feels like he's rushing, like he's forcing some shots. This quarter he has been completely bothered.
Pass to Thomas. And he can't get that one. Jazz trail by 6. Well, if you don't overthink it, what Cam Thomas does on offense is very impressive at his age, Doris.
I think, B.A., what you love about Cam Thomas is he is fearless. He doesn't concern himself with efficiency. His mindset is, I'm going to score, and if I've missed the last 10, it doesn't matter. This next one's going in.
Markkanen for 3. That one goes. Now he's 1 for 2.
Love to see the 7-footer Markkanen go right up with it. Doesn't give the defense time to react.
Russell deciding where to go with it. Kessler with a rebound. Kessler's got 4 rebounds now. Utah has gone 2 of 5 from deep. Pass to Collier. 50 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Shot is up. Rebounded by the Nets. The last time they came together was in Salt Lake City, where they fell to the Jazz.
It really was an inconsistent performance from them. I'm just surprised it was as close as it was.
Yeah, it felt like the other side simply allowed them to hang in, and the score reflected that.
Now here's Claxton, coming in off 12 points in his last outing. Williams passes to Thomas to stop the drought. Collins with the rebound.
Well, they have the advantage, but you still feel like this guy needs to find a way to get himself going.
Pass to Markkanen. From down in the low post, it goes. Markkanen's got 5 now. 5 ticks left in the first quarter of the game. Well, a good close contest so far as we finish the first quarter. It's the Nets up 1. And the second quarter is on its way when we return. And this has been a fairly close game through the first quarter. We'll see what happens here in the second. And looking at what we've seen from the Nets, what do you think, guys?
It's all about the strong inside-out game in the first period. It really helped them get some clean looks down low.
It is great when you can get that established early because to me it opens up every other aspect of your game.
And so it's George with it. He brings it up for the Jazz. They trail by 1 on the court right now. Second quarter for the Nets. We've got DeAnthony Melton. Also Johnson out there. Sharp out there with Williams. And it's Clowney in at power forward. That puts him in the lead. George has gotten himself going with a triple, his first basket of the game.
And there's a nice rhythm to his three-point shot. You know, George has a confident stroke.
Now Williams. The three is up. They get it back. Second chance effort. And the layup by Sharp. Sharp's gotten his first bucket of the night.
And you like the balance here. Not just falling in love with the three ball.
George finds Markkanen. Launches a three. Brooklyn pulls it in.
He couldn't believe how open he was. He just couldn't convert it.
Doris, it's interesting, but the Nets franchise has never won an NBA championship.
That's absolutely correct because their titles came before the merger. Now, since they've joined this league, they did go to the finals for a couple of times. Had Jason Kidd, who was the driver of success, but no championship in this modern era.
And let's send it over to Allie LaForce.
Brian, Lauri Markkanen's shooting stroke at 7 feet tall had former Mavericks coach Rick Carlisle comparing him to Dirk. Lauri said it feels good to hear that because he's obviously a Hall of Famer, but there's still a long way to go, and it gives me more motivation to keep getting better. He's not getting a big head, Brian.
No, he's not, and that's the way you have to approach it to be great. Thanks, Allie. And it's Utah with the ball, following the bucket by the Nets. To the middle.
Next foul.
All right, the Jazz making a change here. Potter's checked in. Wilson's checked in for Brooklyn.
Substitution on the court.
Utah with the ball. It's a 5-point game. George for three. And can't get it to go. Now 1 of 2. The Nets have gotten 3 of 4 field goals in the second quarter. Williams passes to Wilson. Now here's Sharp. Johnson on the wing. There's a screen. Drives to the hoop. Out of bounds. It'll go to the Jazz. Let's take a second to see which teams have been hitting the glass with a fury this season. 5th best, Utah.
This team has done a great job of hitting the boards, and they do tremendous work boxing out.
Kessler, he's checked in for Utah. John Collins comes in for Potter. Nick Claxton, he's checked in for Brooklyn. Thomas comes in for Williams. Jazz trail by 5. George scanning the floor. To stop the run. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. 1 free throw coming his way.
The way George handles the ball and finds ways to finish inside make him very dangerous.
You know, from day one in the NBA, Keontae George had the ability to create his own shot like few others, Doris.
There are certain guys that are electric with their athleticism and the live body they bring to the game. Keontae George knows how to score, and as he develops as a playmaker, look out.
And so many screens today ride that line of moving or not. Doris, you think players get away with too much movement on picks?
I think, Brian, it definitely feels like there's a lot more gray area. You have these things now called drag screens. A lot of screens today feel like maybe 30 years ago they would have been a foul. So, hey, I always say, B.A., officiating in this league with the speed and the skill is really, really difficult.
Here's George, following the bucket by the Nets. And he lobs it up, and finished off by Kessler.
Exactly where Kessler gets so much of his offensive performance done, right at the cup.
For Brooklyn, they've gone a terrific 4 of 5 here in the second quarter. And here's Thomas. He's got 5. Now here's Johnson. 5 to shoot. Pass to Wilson. Yep, it finally drops after rolling around the rim. And the Nets lead by 4. Here's Clarkson. Hasn't gotten one to fall yet. Inside, here's George. Nice assist and nice finish. Solid play all the way around.
Well, a tough first quarter for this guy. You like to see a shot go in. Nicely done.
George against Johnson. Thomas outside. To the inside. 6 to shoot.
Well, Thomas putting that pass on time and on target. Love to see it from that score.
1:57 left in the half. Clarkson with the ball. A valuable part of their offense, averaging a little more than 16 a game. And they're going to count that bucket, and they'll send him to the line. It could be a three-point play. So we'll see Jordan Clarkson go to the line here. It's on Nick Claxton, and this is his first trip to the line tonight. And we've got a timeout called by Will Hardy. He wants to review the game plan.
One shot. The Jazz with the timeout. Jazz fans, it's on the Utah Jazz desert.
Markkanen's checked in for Sensabaugh, and Sexton subbed in for George. Brooklyn making a switch here.
One shot.
And that one falls for Clarkson. And when you talk about guards who can really attack in the lane, Jordan Clarkson is on that list, Doris.
BA, there are just certain guys who are comfortable operating in tight windows. Clarkson's mindset is score. He's got a great sense for where and when to pull up into his shot. He can burn you from three. Little bit streaky, but boy, he can really get on a hot streak.
For Utah, they've got 5 of 7 shots to fall in the second. Collins outside. Pass to Sexton. Markkanen with a screen on Williams. Just 5 on the clock. Oh, Williams with the block. And it's going to be out of bounds with the Jazz retaining possession. Collier, he's checked in for Clarkson.
Number 13, Isaiah Collier.
.103 left in the first half of basketball. Brooklyn has gone 1 for 3 from downtown here in the second. Here's Thomas for 3. Rebound, Utah. Kessler's got 6 rebounds in the game. Here's Collier. Claxton with the block.
Well, look at the wingspan of Nick Claxton on display. He sends that thing back.
Russell, that's good.
And you know, in this quarter, they've really brought up their shooting percentage.
Jazz trail by 3. Markkanen outside. Sexton goes in. Claxton with the block.
You hate to pile on, but his poor shooting night has really hurt the team.
2-second difference between shot and game clock. Thomas against Sexton. Now here's Thomas. Not a lot of room. 4 on the clock. Counted from distance. Thomas has got 8.
What a terrific play by just a tremendous all-around player. This guy makes it look easy.
And so it's the Brooklyn Nets with a 6-point lead at the close of the quarter. They've done well to disrupt the opposition, playing inspired defense. And more NBA action on 2K Sports coming your way right after this.
Thank you for joining us. Getting right to the story, things are going well for the Brooklyn Nets.
Their work on the glass has been superb tonight, chasing down every miss there, Ernie. That's their mindset.
Yeah, you can tell it was a focal point of their game plan coming in, and they've made good on that. All right, and now that we are in the later stages of the season, here's how the standings are looking in the East.
You know, I think for Brooklyn, they haven't played their best ball. It's an understatement. Looking a little lost and flustered right now. It's almost like they don't have any confidence in themselves.
Appreciate you joining us. It's been our distinct pleasure, and I mean that. Let's now take you back over to the third quarter with Brian Anderson.
We've got second half action for you, and if the next couple of quarters are similar to the first, this one could go down to the last possession. We've seen Cam Thomas really having a great game.
Through the first 2 quarters, he's been on fire. Explosive offensive performance.
Boy, he has been shouldering the load. Aggressive, skilled, talented, and thus far unstoppable.
Jazz trail by 6. Well, the Nets are still feeling the ramifications of trading for James Harden doors.
Well, B.A., consider in that trade they gave away Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, and 4, count them, 4 first-round picks for a total of just 80 games played for James Harden. The reverberations are still being felt.
Sexton and Markkanen out on the wings. Collins and Kessler there in the middle. And it's Collier in at the point. And that's the group for Will Hardy as we begin the second half. And it's good for 2. Collins has got his first points of the game.
Yeah, John Collins, tremendous body control because the contact was there. He just doesn't allow it to bother him.
Johnson on the wing. Collins defending. Collins against Thomas. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's the floater. Collins with the rebound. Utah trailing here. They're searching for a way to score.
Yeah, buckets have been very tough to come by.
Markkanen, the pass to Collins. That three's off the mark. And so it's Russell who brings up the ball for Brooklyn. Brooklyn, no good that time either.
Well, I guarantee you this is not what they talked about in the locker room. 0 for 3 and looking lost.
A chance here to catch up with Allie from the sideline.
Hey, Brian. The Jazz are making progress. Coach Will Hardy said this team has shown grit and character and has developed a lot of confidence. When we're going through game preparations, the players walk away knowing if they do certain things, they can win. That's a big step in the right direction.
A bright future, Allie. Thank you. And the timeout called here by Jordi Fernandez. He's going to gather the troops and talk it over.
Your Utah Jazz break your next.
Talented passers entered the league this season. Let's take a look at the rookies with the best assist numbers. Isaiah Collier on top. Keontae George is second.
And both of these guys have come into the league with a bang. The way they've shared the ball and looked to get their teammates involved has been fun to watch.
Third quarter here, over a minute and a half into it. Outside Russell, back to Williams. Knocks down the triple. Williams has got 9.
Well, their first basket in 4 tries. Can that trigger a little bit of good shooting here? We'll find out.
Down low. Here's Markkanen. And Markkanen with the stuff.
I love it when Markkanen decides to throw it down. Show some fire on that finish.
Outside Johnson. Outside Williams. To the paint. And stolen by Sexton. In transition, here come the Jazz. Oh, there's the alley. And stolen by Claxton. Markkanen against Russell. Pass to Claxton. Oh, Kessler with the block.
This guy is a constant threat on the defensive end. Send it back, Walker.
And we have to take another look at that block.
What a powerful rejection. He's not wanting them to get an advantage in this competitive game.
A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter. Williams. That shot's good. Russell making the play. Russell's got 3 assists tonight.
This guy is cooking right now. He is leading them on the offensive end as they remain in front here.
Now here's Sexton. You know, his stats have been solid, averaging around 18.5 points a game.
This has been a close game in a lot of ways, but they do have an edge on the boards.
Well, the Jazz are one of just 10 NBA franchises to never win a championship, Grant.
Yeah, you know, it's so hard to believe considering they have the 4th best winning percentage in NBA history. Think about it. If it weren't for one Michael Jordan, they'd probably have 2 rings.
From about 16, and the jumper is good. And it's a 7-point Brooklyn lead.
Well, tremendous job on the pull-up jumper, right? D'Angelo Russell taking advantage of what the defense gives him.
Sexton against Thomas. Well, when you talk about the most underrated players in the league, Doris, Sexton has to be in the conversation.
Well, let's begin with the fact that he's an absolutely fearless scorer, a tough competitor, an improved facilitator. There's grit, determination. He's willing to get into you defensively. He is somebody that will compete on the defensive end.
First one falls. You know, Grant, looking at the career of Colin Sexton, he had a huge 3rd season, averaged 24 a game.
Yeah, B.A., and unfortunately, Colin hurt his knee early during his 4th year. Had season-ending surgery, but we've seen Sexton make a full comeback and just a dynamic scoring guard.
All right, both free throws good from Sexton.
That's what he does. Rock solid at the line.
Brooklyn leading by 5. Here's Johnson. Yet to see a basket. Five on the clock. Pass to Watford. Here's Wilson. Kessler with a rebound. Kessler's got 9 rebounds now. Here's George to the inside. The shot by Filipowski, no good. Brooklyn has gone 1 of 2 shooting from the perimeter since halftime. Grant, a big reason for Utah to be excited about the future. Their young head coach, Will Hardy.
Yeah, B.A. I mean, he's had this team competitive after trading away both Mitchell and Gobert. And I love how Hardy has developed guys like Lauri Markkanen.
And a closer look here at the hustle stats for the Nets.
Well, you have to like what you've seen from them defensively. They've done well contesting shots and have managed to come away with some blocks too.
They've also been scoring on the break with how difficult it is to get buckets in the half court. Anytime you can push the ball in transition for easy ones, that's big time.
The free throw drops for Johnson. Sensabaugh is checked in for Utah. And a change for the Nets. Sharp's checked in. And Johnson drops them both. 1:41 left in the third. Now Clarkson. And it's blocked. Here's Wilson. He's covered by Clarkson. To the middle. Here's Sharp. And that one is hammered home.
That's how you share the rock. He does this time and time again.
Boy, they need something to go to regain some confidence.
No question. Way too many empty possessions for them.
Pass to Filipowski. Over Sharp. The shot by Filipowski, no good.
I'll tell you what, they've been aggressive and they've been physical.
Outside Johnson. Watford the pass to Johnson. Back to Watford. And here's Johnson. And here's Watford. George defending. From deep, Johnson. Clarkson grabs a miss. Jazz trail by 9. Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. It's George on the wing. Watford covering. Sexton looking around. Oh, and makes it with the kiss. Sexton's got 7 points.
Well, everyone's seeking those high percentage looks in the restricted area. Nicely done there.
Johnson for 3. And no good. Trying to get that one to fall. And so it's Brooklyn closing out this quarter with a 7-point lead. Their defensive efforts have paid off, effectively shutting down the opposing offense. Back to the game after this break. And a moment now as we take a look at our State Farm assist of the game.
He's always near the top of the list for this honor. I mean, passes like these are his specialty.
Well, this is why great point guard play is so critical in today's NBA, and you see it right there on display.
The fourth quarter has arrived. So good to have you with us. And so it's Johnson with it. He brings it up for the Nets. On the court for the Nets as we get the fourth quarter going. They've got Johnson. He's out there with Trendon Watford. And it's Sharp in at the center position. They get the rebound. And that one's good with extra effort on the glass.
That'll drive your coach crazy, failing to box out.
But to me, this is a common theme that's running through the league right now. Guys looking to leak out rather than box out.
Now here's George. Here's Clarkson. Nice touch on the bank shot.
Well, Jordan Clarkson specializes at capitalizing on what the defense gives him. Nicely done in the mid-range.
And here's Watford. Outside Johnson from behind the arc. Knocks down the long J. And the Nets lead by 10.
Always a bonus when points come from unlikely sources. And you can see this guy's been working on that shot.
George outside. And the Jazz tack on 2 more.
And he's a crafty scorer for a young player. George is always going to find the gaps in the defense.
Here's Wilson. He's guarded by Martin. Clowney. And a two-handed jam.
Now that's how you capitalize on a screen.
Yeah, good positioning, too. Gave him a clear path to the hoop.
does the defense. No fighting through the pick, no rotation. My goodness.
Now here's Clarkson. The putback. Martin outside. Pass to Potter. On the wing, Clarkson. The Jazz need to get one up in a hurry. And another shot. And the layup is good.
Well, the defense wants to keep the ball out of that area. Why? Because if it gets in there, most players are going to finish.
Watford outside. Here's Wilson. And the Nets, another three.
They are unconscious from outside. And so far, the defense has had no answer.
Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? If you space the floor well enough, it's almost impossible for the defense to account for everyone.
And so Will Hardy calls for the timeout. He's decided it's time to clarify the situation, leaving little room for error.
On the court is your hype squad. 3 t-shirts coming your way. Let's hear you make some noise.
And let's swing it over to the sideline and hear from Allie.
I was able to listen in on what Will Hardy was going over with his team. Coach telling their players, let's play with urgency. This is the game. I know we'll win if we play hard. Let's see how the team responds.
All right, Allie, thanks once again. Just under 2.5 minutes gone by now in the final quarter. Kessler passes to Markkanen. Here's Sexton. Pass to Kessler. Clock at 6. Here's Collier. Thomas defends. Offensive rebound. The 3 from Sexton. Doesn't go for him.
They've had a slight leg up on the boards and a big leg up on the scoreboard.
Johnson with it. And it's Russell, that time on the assist by Johnson. And the Nets lead by 13. Here's Collier. Boy, they'd love if anyone could get a bucket.
Yeah, their offense has been grinding to a halt.
Outside Sexton. Markkanen with a screen on Thomas. For 3, Sexton gets the 3 ball to go.
Well, after netting one in the first half, that's the second deep ball to go down for this guy.
Brooklyn leading by 10. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Claxton. Over 3.5 minutes through the final quarter now. Here's Collier, guarded by Russell. Williams against Markkanen. Here's Collier, shot clock at 6. And finished off by Kessler.
Well, tremendous strength and authority on that dunk. Nicely done, Walker Kessler.
Thomas against Sexton. And he got the whistle on the way up. So he'll be headed to the line for a pair.
Personal foul. First team foul. Shooting for Brooklyn. Cameron Thomas taking 2 shots.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
He drops the first one, and that'll put him up by 9.
Well, for Cam Thomas, obviously, the whole conversation about why he's in the league is his scoring ability. And I think the next step for him, he's got to start to be able to play make for his teammates.
And he cannot convert on the second. That misses. And we're starting to see some big contracts for NBA head coaches, Doris.
Well, B.A., whether we are talking about player contracts or coaches' contracts, the cost of business is the cost of business. And coaches, to me, earn every penny. Because what happens when teams underperform? The first fall guy is typically that head coach. I have 0 problems with the salaries.
First free throw is good, and that brings him with an 8.
Well, Colin Sexton, I mean, great athleticism, unbelievable quickness, but there is an intensity that pours off this guy nightly that you have to admire.
Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one.
Listen, it's only 1 miss, but it hurts all the same as they try to cut into this lead.
Blocked!
That's the length of Lowry Markkanen making a difference at the defensive end.
And the fans love seeing incredible moments on defense like that block.
What a play. I mean, that'll have the offense thinking twice about taking shots in his presence.
A minute 39 left to play in the fourth. Here's Thomas. And good as it takes a nice bounce off the right iron and down. And the Nets lead by 10. For the Jazz, this one not looking good. Collins with a screen on Thomas. Here's Sexton. That one's good for 2. Sexton's got 6 points in the quarter.
You love this. The pressure gets physical, and Colin Sexton doesn't blink. Nice job finishing through contact.
And Jordi Fernandez calls timeout. He is not messing around, calling them into the huddle.
It's time for dance step. If you see yourself on the big screen, then you know what to do. Show us your move. Dancing with you. Let's see those moves. You're on beat. Round of applause.
There's a minute 26 left in the game. Outside, Williams. Inside, here's Russell. Hey, in 6 attempts, he's made 5. Talk about efficiency.
This guy, an effortless scorer. Outside, inside, in between. Dynamic scorer is D'Angelo Russell.
And he lobs it up to the rim. Kessler with it. Russell covering. For 3, Collins. Brooklyn pulls it in. 13 points was their biggest lead of the game.
Well, now it's just a matter of watching the sand fall through the hourglass. This game is wrapped up in a strong showing for the Nets.
And at first glance, it appeared to be an easy win for them. However, they had to weather some storms along the way, Grant.
Yeah, in terms of competitiveness, it was a lot closer than the final score indicates.
That'll do it for this one. They've earned their 27th victory of the year tonight.
Well, at least they're going to take one game in this season series. It was an uphill climb.
26 seconds left in the fourth quarter. No need to shoot. This one is done.
Yes, they've got to be happy with tonight's effort.
Now here's Russell. He's closely guarded. Uses the glass on the layup. And the Nets lead by 9.
Well, to me, this is where D'Angelo Russell distinguishes himself. He understands that when he can score it, he's going to be aggressive.
This one belongs to Brooklyn. Boy, a nice win on the road. By the time this one was winding down, this building was stone cold silent.
And that's exactly what you got to do. You have to try to take the crowd out of it.
Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Allie LaForce, Grant Hill, and Dorisburg, this is Brian Anderson. Thank you for watching tonight's game. And time now to introduce our player of the game, Cam Thomas.